Sylvester Stallone reveals the Marvel star who wanted Tulsa King so badly it shook the room. Good day, legends. Imagine walking into a casting room already owned by Sylvester Stallone. The chairs are metaphorically shaking, the walls have seen more muscle than a gym mirror, and then a Marvel star walks in with the confidence of someone who knows they belong there. Not asking. Not hoping. Wanting it badly. Today, we are unpacking Stallone's recent comments about the Marvel actor who was desperate to join Tulsa King, and how that confidence turned into something intimidating, motivating, and impossible to ignore. Before we roll any further, do yourselves a favor. If you enjoy sharp Hollywood stories, behind-the-scenes power plays, and industry insights with a little bite, subscribe to Stats In and click that notifications bell icon. That way, you never miss a story that punches harder than a Stallone one-liner. Now let us set the stage. Tulsa King is not just another television project. It is Stallone's late-career victory lap, a show that proves age in Hollywood is a suggestion, not a rule. Playing Dwight, the General Manfredi, Stallone delivers a performance that feels like a classic mob film had a modern streaming glow-up. So when Stallone speaks about casting, people listen. And recently, he revealed that a Marvel star wanted in on this world so badly that it left an impression you could feel in your spine. According to Stallone, this actor did not quietly send an audition tape and wait patiently by the phone. No, this was presence casting. Confidence first, resume second. Stallone described the actor's energy as intimidating, but in the best possible way. Think of it like walking into a boxing gym and spotting the one fighter who does not shadowbox, because they already know they can win. That kind of confidence can scare people, or it can raise the level of everyone in the room. Stallone made it clear. This one did the latter. Here is where it gets interesting. In the Marvel machine, actors are often wrapped in green screens, tight schedules, and cinematic universes so massive that individuality can blur. Yet Stallone praised this Marvel star for standing out, not hiding behind the brand. That tells you something powerful. Confidence is currency in Hollywood, but authentic confidence is rare. Stallone has worked with legends, egos, and icons. When he says someone made an impression, that is not casual praise. That is heavyweight respect. Now let us talk intimidation, because Stallone did not shy away from that word. Intimidation in Hollywood is usually code for ego. But Stallone flipped it. This was not arrogance. This was hunger. The kind of hunger that says, I know what I can do, and I want to. How a global political earthquake turned Rambo 3 into Hollywood's most awkward time capsule. Good day, picture this. You make a massive action film. Explosions everywhere. Muscles glistening like polished marble. The hero saves the day. Then history taps you on the shoulder and says, about that ending, we need to talk. Today on Stats In, we are diving into how Rambo 3, one of Sylvester Stallone's biggest and boldest films, ran straight into an unforeseen global political event that flipped its message upside down and turned the entire movie into a lightning rod for controversy. If you enjoy Hollywood stories where reality crashes through the screen like a stuntman through a window, subscribe to Stats In and click the notifications bell icon. It keeps you locked in for more film history twists that are stranger than fiction, and yes, louder too. Now let us rewind to the late 1980s. Rambo 3 arrives in 1988 with all the confidence of a blockbuster that knows exactly what it is. Bigger action. Bigger budget. Bigger explosions. Stallone's John Rambo is no longer just a traumatized Vietnam veteran. He is a global one-man army. This time, the story plants him in Afghanistan, where he teams up with local fighters to battle the Soviet military. At the time, this felt clear-cut. Cold War logic. Hollywood versus communism. Simple. Explosive. Profitable. Here is the snag. History does not care about box office projections. At the time of release, the film portrayed Afghan Mujahideen fighters as brave freedom warriors. The final dedication even praised their courage. In the context of the 1980s, this aligned neatly with United States foreign policy. The Soviet Union was the villain. Supporting Afghan resistance fighters was politically convenient and culturally celebrated. Rambo 3 was not just a movie. It was a cinematic flex of Western ideology. Then the world changed. Fast forward a little over a decade, and global politics took a sharp, painful turn. The September 11th attacks reshaped international relations overnight. Suddenly, Afghanistan was no longer a distant battlefield in an action fantasy. It was front and center in real-world conflict, tragedy, and trauma. Groups once labeled as freedom fighters were now associated, rightly or wrongly, with extremism and terror networks. And just like that, Rambo 3 became deeply uncomfortable viewing. This is where the controversy truly ignited. Viewers revisiting the film noticed that what once looked like patriotic bravado now felt like a historical misfire. The heroes of the movie were no longer viewed through the same lens. The dedication at the end became infamous, shared online with disbelief and dark humor. It was as if Hollywood had accidentally frozen a political moment in amber, only for the world to walk past it years later and say, "That aged badly." Now let us be clear. Stallone did not predict the future. He was making a film rooted firmly in its time. But that is exactly the lesson. Movies are cultural snapshots, and when history shifts, those snapshots can become controversial exhibits. Here is the twist that keeps this story fascinating. Rambo 3 did not fail because of politics alone. It was also one of the most expensive films ever made at the time, and it struggled at the box office compared to expectations. Combine financial disappointment with political hindsight, and suddenly the film became an easy target. It was not just outdated. It was awkwardly loud about it. Think of it like wearing flared jeans to a modern board meeting. They were once stylish. They made sense. Now they raise eyebrows. Stallone himself has acknowledged this strange legacy. Over the years, he has spoken candidly about how Rambo 3 sits differently today. The film was never intended to endorse future events or extremist ideologies. It was reacting to a specific geopolitical climate. But audiences do not separate intention from impact. Once history changes, the meaning changes with it. This controversy also sparked a wider conversation about Hollywood's relationship with global politics. Films often simplify complex conflicts into good versus evil narratives. That works brilliantly for popcorn entertainment, but real-world consequences are rarely so tidy. Rambo 3 became a case study in how storytelling shortcuts can backfire when reality catches up. Here is where the story hooks deeper. Despite the controversy, Rambo 3 remains culturally significant. It represents the peak of 1980s action excess. It shows how cinema mirrored political confidence, and in some ways, political arrogance. It also highlights how quickly global narratives can flip. One decade's hero can become the next decade's problem. Interestingly, modern audiences tend to view the film with a mix of irony and curiosity. Younger viewers watch it not as propaganda, but as a historical artifact. It is studied, debated, and dissected. That alone proves its value. Films that spark conversation.